You're with the Breaker-Leggers, and we're in the Midlands at Kilworth House Theatre
to see the musical Guys and Dolls.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Before you amazing people go any further,
yes, both you guys and you dolls, to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse.
For honest theatre reviews, news and interviews,
just pop down and hit subscribe now. Do you know what? Guys, dolls and the undecided, those in between.
Anybody,
please,
everybody.
You're all welcome to join our Legger community. Leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
So we're a bit of a different venue today. Kilworth House. Oh, it's a bit of a, is it a stately home?
It is a sort of stately home hotel, but it has this really unique outdoor theatre space, which is kind of hidden in a little glade amongst the surrounding countryside, and it's a really unique experience, I believe, although we've not been here before.
Never been here before.
We've been told wonderful things.
Every year they do a couple of musicals, I think, is what they do. It's kind of, I imagine it to be outsidey, like the Regent's Park outdoor theatre is what I've got in my head.
I think this has more cover. I think it's sort of slightly undercover. Like Regent's Park, you get rained off, you all go home. That's the thing. I don't think it's quite that bad here.
So that's where we are.
Yes.
Seeing Guys and Dolls. What
Guys
do we know
and
about
Dolls.
this?
Anyway, it's a musical with music and lyrics by Frank Loesser and a book by Joe Swirling and Abe Burrows. But it was originally based on several short stories by the writer Damien Runyon.
Okay.
It's a tale of gangsters, gamblers, and the New York underworld in the 1920s and 30s.
Okay, I know this this piece has been around so long. It's had many revivals.
It has. It premiered on Broadway in 1950, running for 1,200 performances and winning the Tony Award for Best New Musical, but probably going to be best known for its 1955 movie adaptation starring
Marlon Brando.
Also Frank Sinatra and Gene Simmons.
What a cast!
What a cast. Now the songs from the musical have sort of entered the world of popular music, and numbers such as Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat and Look, Be a Lady have been recorded by artists such as Barbra Streisand and
Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong, yes indeed.
Frank Sinatra's done loads of them as well, seeming as he was in the film.
Well, it makes sense really. This production is being directed and choreographed by Nick Winson. It has a runtime of around 2.5 hours and an interval, so we'll be catching up with you again there. Stay tuned for our breakdown and find out how many legs.
It's the interval, which means it's time for the Breaker-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, the performances are great, the set's great, the choreography's brilliant. I'm absolutely star of the show with the dancing. But the story's just creaky with age for me. You know, I understand why it was popular, but what about you?
Yeah, I guess it's the first time we are encountering Guys and Dolls and know lots of the songs, so it's nice to see them finally in context. As you said, the production values are good, fantastic set, great numbers and choreography. We've come to the end of Guys and Dolls. It's a bit chilly.
It is a bit chilly.
So if you do come, make sure you bring some blankets. It started off nice and warm.
Well, they hire you blankets for a donation to cancer charity, which is great.
I think it's such a great idea.
Yeah, that is a great idea. But yeah, put layers on is what we would say. Just
Anyway,
get a bit cold.
We've come to the end. So what did you make of Guys and Dolls?
Of Guys and Dolls as a piece, I think it's...
This production.
This production I really enjoyed. Guys and Dolls as a piece, it's just not for me, unfortunately. It's again, it's one of these legacy musicals that's really nice, but sort of doesn't really go anywhere. You know, it comes to the end scene, I was sort of like, oh, is that where they're leaving it then? Sort of, is that the end? It's just sort of, it plods along and it just sort of like a little fairground ride, like a gentle carousel, which is, you know, nice to be on, but it's not going to thrill you. And I don't know whether, as a result, I just feel a little bit empty, but that's the piece's fault. And it's not particularly this production, which is good.
We should separate the piece, because I do feel kind of the same about the piece. There's nice music in there, dated now, but some really nice songs in the piece. Now let's talk about this production. This production I thought was fantastic in terms of really strong production values. A big thing that stood out for me was the choreography, which is key believe, because this is pretty much a dance show.
Absolutely, and that's the point. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere here. We really are. We're in an outdoor theatre space, but the production values and the strength of the cast will rival anything that I've seen in the West End. It is that level and that scale of production, kind of in a region, in an environment that you just don't expect it to be, which is in itself a real thrill.
Which is what's really nice about this venue. They have brought in top talent. If you look at every single actor, credits going back for donkeys. You know, they're just really
Seasoned
good calibre
professionals
of individuals.
Yeah.
Should we get on to individuals
Yeah,
already?
let's get on to individuals.
Is there anybody that stood out to you?
I thought that Daniel Stockton as Nicely Johnson was it's a great part, to be honest.
He suited it extremely well.
He did.
You took one look at him and you knew exactly what part he's playing.
Yes.
It's a very stereotypical look for that role.
But it works really well.
It works really well.
And he was
what a voice.
great in it.
He does have a great number as well. Sitting down, you're rocking the boat.
Sitting down.
Sitting down. We're sitting
down.
down.
Rocking the boat. If you stood up, it doesn't move.
Sit down, you're rocking the boat.
It
It moves really well. It's just really fun. It's just a great number, really. It still is the second act.
He does.
It is kind of the climax of the act.
Also, I would say Sarah Brown, played by Harriet Jones. She's a beautiful soprano voice. I really enjoyed her performance. I thought she was really, the emotion in her performance was fantastic too, and she had comic moments which were lovely.
Yep, and I think also the other role that stood out, it's kind of the role really in terms of the females, is Adelaide.
Yes, played by Holly Dale Spencer. She was phenomenal. For me,
Really well
stole the
cast.
show, and do you know, outshined any of the male cast, the main male cast for me. She was just perfectly cast. She was fantastically owned the role, and I just loved her.
I think she was beautifully cast, had a really nice voice, acted it really well with real truth as well, and really grounded. Because I think with that it can become almost a bit of a caricature,
A bit comical,
and
a bit sort of over the top. Yes, caricature. You're absolutely right.
And it wasn't. It was fantastically grounded.
It was.
And I believed it, and I believed the gravity of the situation as well.
Absolutely. I'd say lighting was good, designed by Jason Taylor. That was great. I really liked the costumes because they weren't cheap and nasty. They were totally fitting of the piece. Philip Whitcomb did the set and costume design, and I really liked it.
Okay, yeah, I really liked the set design as well. Really simple, but quite a large space. And there's a lot of them on the stage, and they moved around so well. The choreography that they were given, it was choreographed and directed by the same person.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Nick Winston.
Nick Winston. I felt as if the choreography was stronger out of the two, if I'm being honest, and had to separate them. But he's done such a fantastic job bringing up this real technically demanding choreography. And the performers are so technically precise as well, with legs going up all over the place and spin, and jumps in the air with the legs wide apart. Like, just really nicely executed. You can have the ideas, but if you can't execute it, and this company was able to execute that choreography extremely well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just thought that the actors, what they did on stage, and the production team have worked together really, really well. So, I bet you're wondering how many legs for this piece.
So, for Guys and Dolls, playing here at Kilworth House Theatre, we are going to give three legs. Now that's a good legs.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a great
production.
It's a great production. It's a good evening out. But for me, the musical itself is just a little bit dull.
And that's for us. If you already love Guys and Dolls, because I think there are probably people out there that do love this, then this is a fantastic production to see of this show.
Yes, I can't agree more. I think that's true. I just think there's nothing ultimately you can do with the text anymore that, you know, than it's been done in this production, and that's just it for us. But anyway, that's just what we think.
Just what we thought.
What do you think? Why don't you pop down below?
Let us know.
Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon. Bye.